Hello, welcome to the Summit League Coaches Show as we get ready for the 2019-20 basketball season in the Summit League. Tom Neiman along with Greg Steeman. And we're only a couple of weeks away from the regular season as we get into November, Gregory, and there's some shakeup in the league on the men's side. We'll get to that. Let's start with the women's, though, and what are you looking forward to on the women's side in the Summit League?
Well, interesting, from the women's perspective, a multi-bid league, Summit League was last year, both USD and South Dakota State going to the big show. And this year it's going to be a little bit interesting because USD returns a little bit more than SDSU, but both of those two teams, I think, again, will be probably the class of the league, but everybody else trying to close that gap.
All right, the league 9 teams strong again this year. Let's take a look at the preseason poll for women's basketball, and this is voted on by some media members. There are sports information people. There are 2 or 3 or 4 individuals from each of these schools. They get to vote in these Summit League polls, and as you said, South Dakota, 21st place votes. The Jackrabbits, the defending champions, the defending tournament champions, get 13 of those votes, and then you get to Denver, Oral Roberts, Western Illinois, North Dakota is in its 2nd year in the league now. The Bison women, Omaha, and Purdue Fort Wayne rounding out the poll.
Yeah, and South Dakota probably, be finishing ahead of South Dakota State in the preseason poll. Everybody knows it's meaningless, but it's understandable. They lost one quality senior and returned everybody else. South Dakota State lost 2 of the best ever in Macy Miller and Maddie Geber.
For the 2nd year now, all of the coaches have been invited to Sioux Falls, the Summit League offices now in Sioux Falls after many, many years in South Chicago. So all of the coaches have been invited into Sioux Falls, and we get to talk to them here on Summit League Media Day, which is officially today. So let's get to the women's coaches, starting with Purdue Fort Wayne, and assistant coach Marcie Alberts joins us here. Welcome, Marcie. Good to have you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, you've been around this program quite a while. This is going to be your 7th season going into this year, correct?
Yes, it is. Yes, looking forward to it.
All right, talk a little bit, first of all. We're going to ask everybody about what they're missing, some of the players that have graduated in the last season or so. Who is that for you? Who are you trying to replace, so to speak, at Purdue Fort Wayne this year?
Well, last year we lost 1 senior and a couple kids to transfer. I think with what we had coming back, we'll do a pretty good job of replacing all those key positions. And then we added in a couple transfers, one from the junior college level and then one from LaSalle. So I think that's going to be and play a key role in what we're going to do this year.
2 of those big players you're talking about, Jazzy Hughes is one of them, was at a junior college in Arizona. And then Michelle Nichols played 2 years at LaSalle in Pennsylvania, I believe. And when you go to recruit those players, the big people, so to speak, to play in the Summit League, what are you looking for?
Well, I think the Summit League bigs, they can all shoot the ball. That is something that we've talked about as coaches across the board. I just think the league in general has a bunch of shooters in it. Doesn't matter if you play the 1 or the 5. And that was something we were looking for with our bigs, to be able to come down and be able to knock some shots down, similar to what South Dakota State and South Dakota do on a night in and night out basis. So definitely when we were looking to add some pieces, that is the route we were looking to go. And then bringing in some guards with that ability to not only break you down, but also be able to knock down that 3, and I think we've done a pretty good job of that.
Marcie, we've talked about what you lost. We've talked also about some of the transfers, but your returners, you've got some experience on the perimeter position with Albrecht and Loppencooper, and then also Shatoya Sanders inside. 3 key seniors that have kind of been there the entire way, trying to take that next step in this difficult Summit League. How do you feel about them meshing with the new players?
Oh, they've been fantastic here in the off season and heading into our first 2 weeks of practice. Just doing a great job of leading our team, helping those young kids understand what we're trying to do both on and off the court, and it's just been amazing. Hannah and Anna are 2 guards that we're obviously going to expect a lot of production from them. We expect them to be able to knock down those shots when they're open and lead, from the time tip-off starts till the time it ends. And then Shatoya, just kind of her game speaks for itself. She can be a contributor at both ends of the court, and her enthusiasm has been amazing, especially in practice, just being the vocal leader and getting excited for all of the good plays that some of these young kids are making, because in the end we've got to get them caught up pretty fast, and hopefully by Summit League play they're going to be ready to go.
All right, Marcie, just taking a look at some of the plays Shatoya Sanders made for you there last year. It's a good place to start with 2 senior guards and 1 really good senior post. And Unfortunately for the Summit League, you guys head to the Horizon League next year, and I know you're focused on the Summit League season this year, but is it going to be a little bit of a strange transition, maybe a goodbye this year to the Summit League?
Oh, definitely. I mean, obviously, we love being in the Summit League. We've enjoyed our time in the league, and having that opportunity, definitely going to be bittersweet, I think, for all of us. It'll be a fun last season for us in the Summit League, and hopefully can go out with a bang, so to speak. And like I said earlier, we're not really looking towards the Horizon League. We're focused on this 2019-20 season and doing the best we can in the Summit League in our last season.
All right. We know you're going to miss those January trips to Fargo and Brookings and making those road trips. So
some of those negative 20-degree days, we'll definitely miss those.
All right. Appreciate it. Marcie Alberts, the assistant coach at Purdue Fort Wayne. We appreciate it. When we come back, we'll take a look at the Omaha women as we roll on with the Summer League Coaches Show here on Midco Sports Network.